Gardner Properties LLC, 221 Broad Street. Application for variance from section 22-387 of the Claremont zoning ordinance to permit an Airbnb at 221 Broad Street, map 132, lot 44 in a PR district. And this was continued from our February 1st meeting. So at this point, Scott, I'm not sure where you're hiding now. You there, Scott?
You're not coming through.
No, I'm not.
They're still rebooting.
I don't think he's on, Mike.
No, they're waiting for the computer to come back on. They were thinking that his
Hamlet.
tablet was interfering with the computer, being we're both Scott. There we go. You're muted, Scott.
Yes, oh, no, I'm not. Okay, we have our customers behind us right here.
So do you have anything new for us, Scott, before we start?
Yes, let's see. Where's my book? Yeah, well, the applicants are here. And one of the main concerns of the board last time was what was a plan on the layout of the property, which was put in the packet. And
Can everybody hear Scott?
Yep, I
Can you hear
can.
him okay? We can't hear him and we're right next to him, so I just wanted to make sure.
okay, all right. So I thought we could just bring up that the little sketch that she made for the Airbnb property itself. It's just taking a minute to find it. I just have to go and pull it up. Let's see.
Getting seasick, Scott.
Getting seasick?
Yeah, I'm following that cursor around. Motions like this.
Okay, sorry. We'll get there. Okay. Okay, that's one of them, but there's a cleaner one right below it. Let me just take the other one.
That's the one we have.
Okay. Okay, Jessica, you can tell us about what we have here. I also have a picture of the building itself outside, so you can see where it comes in.
Well, we'll get to her in a minute, Scott.
Okay.
Do you have anything new to add?
No, we still have the same set of documents, and I think that they'd be happy to talk about their plans for this the development they're doing. They also gave us a lot of photographs of the work that's been done, and it's really high quality work for the building. And
Pictures I saw were just gutted rooms.
I could show you some of those pictures as well.
I don't need to see the gutted rooms again.
Oh, I meant the other ones, the new ones.
They should have been sent to us in our package.
Very nice.
We don't have those.
Yeah, those are the ones we've got showing gutted rooms and work being done.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, they've gone quite a bit in the past few weeks. They got a lot more done. Yeah.
Okay, so if Scott has nothing to add, we'll have the applicant speak.
Before we do, can I ask Scott a couple questions?
Please.
Scott, did you review the applicant's application before it was submitted to us?
Yes, actually, it was difficult because it came through a different computer. And so we had to just parse it out. But yes, I did. read it.
I'm talking about the actual application. The question about unnecessary hardship. And the applicant's answer begins with, we need to make money to support renovations, adding to the street value, blah, 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 on. Did you see that?
Yeah, we did, and we talked about it.
Did you talk to the applicant about the fact that the zoning board rules and regulations say that the zoning board cannot take any financial considerations into account?
Yes, I did bring that to their attention.
Okay, and they decided to leave that in there?
No, it was already in there, and the package was going out.
And they could have crossed it out, but they decided to leave it in?
No, because they, they had a lot more to say about the program too, and you just saw some pictures of it.
Okay,
and they do
I saw
understand.
some pictures of the apartment being gutted. I have another question. Did you look at the picture that you just had up on the screen?
Which one? The one of the rooms themselves?
The hand drawing?
Yeah, the sketch of the room itself.
Okay, and did you see the third, I think it was the third picture or the second picture? Did you see what the applicant typed at the bottom of that?
I did, and
And did you have
sometimes
any
people-
comment on that?
I did. We talked about it. And
You
I
talked
just-
about what?
Well, sometimes people get a little upset about things, but all in
Right,
all,
and-
they've done a
and as-
first-class job with this.
All right, and as the planner, well, first of all, they say they have B&Bs in other areas, so they should have gone through other cities and everything. So I'm sure as business professionals, they know what they're writing. So my question is, did you explain to them and give them the chance to remove that?
Well, yes, yeah, well, we did talk about it, and
Scott, and I'm asking you, did they choose to leave that very offensive type message on the bottom of that picture?
they didn't intend to put it there.
Who intended to put it there?
That's when she sent us the pictures, and there was some verbiage below the pictures as well.
All right,
And sometimes, Tracy, people can vent, and it's not a bad thing.
well, no, venting, I agree 100% that venting is not a bad thing. I vent, believe me, I have typed 100 letters and put them in a drawer and not mailed them till the next day just so that I could cool off. So, and she's a business professional, so I'm just asking you if that was on the picture when it came in, you discussed it with her and it went out, so she chose not, she could have said to you, well, Scott, could you just cut that picture and just remove that verbiage, but she chose to leave it on there so that we would know how she felt? I'm just asking you, that's a yes or no question.
It didn't come to our attention to do that when we were putting the package together. I should have brought it to her attention a little sooner, had her do that, but I still felt that the information that she did have there was very beneficial to it.
I feel that her comment was, if they vote against us, we're just gonna sell the house and move out of Claremont. I find that very threatening and offensive. And even though I am, and I will state for the record, 100% behind Airbnbs, I think they're a great thing to bring to Claremont. I think that she's got a 1-bedroom apartment and she wants to make it a 1-bedroom Airbnb, and I'm 100% behind that. But the application that you, as the planner, reviewed and then sent out, and then this, which I found very, very offensive, you saw that and you could have picked up your phone and said to her, Jessica, I think her name is Jessica, are you sure you want to put this on there? And either you're at fault because you didn't do that and you let it go out without advising her that the board would be offended, or she knew you warned her and she chose to let it still go through. I'm just pointing these things out to you tonight to let you know that I do not think you are doing your job correctly if you are not reviewing these applications, making sure that they are complete and making sure that they're not against what the zoning board has to do. And the zoning board cannot take financial into consideration. You know that. It still went out as an answer to a question. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Mike.
So I have, I'm sorry, is it Jessica, the young lady speaking in this? Scott,
Yeah,
can you bounce me back so I have full screen so I don't have to keep bouncing between two screens? Hang on, right here. Is that what I need to do? There we go, sorry.
you want me to get up the share? Okay.
There we go. Now I can see everybody, sorry. So I have one question that I don't believe this is a departmental question. I think this is more related to the fire department, which does this go to planning? Does this go to fire, to committee review of any sort before?
We didn't do a TRC with it.
You
But of
did or
course-
did not?
We did not do a TRC with it. But of course, the building inspector with Tom will go up and inspect the place before it gets approval.
Why
So
didn't you do a
I-
TRC?
My question to the applicant would be, with this work you've done, have you put a second means of egress in?
There you go.
I don't see it on your plan. Is it put in?
No,
Jessica, that question was, Jessica, that question was for you. I think that it's confusing. The question for you was in the drawing, the hand drawing that you sent to us, it doesn't show a second egress.
There is a second egress.
The drawing
Okay.
specifically does not show the egress, but there is an existing egress.
Where
Okay,
we can
where
mark it
could-
on.
could you explain where it is on the drawing for us?
You gotta come a little closer to Scott, though. 1 second, Carolyn, I see you.
okay.
You gotta come a little closer to Scott because we can't hear you folks in the background.
So if you look at the top of the stairs that walks up to the 40 square foot area, Coat Landing.
Yeah,
So right there where 40 square foot is another door. And that goes out over top of the garage and you can take a stairway down and out.
But they're both on the same point, correct?
Right.
Both on the same end.
I don't think that counts. And
no,
I think you're gonna have to go with
Stairs.
the planning, not the planning department, the building department or the fire department. Basically, both egresses are at the same point.
yeah.
Am I right in saying, so both?
So I believe though there is, because, so when we did have the electrician over, they were talking about hard wiring and all of that. The porch, because it's a certain height, is not above the height where you need the second,
Is that where the entrance is?
correct,
Okay.
the red
I put
door.
up another picture that shows the side of the building where the egress is.
But I still believe you need a second means of egress other than the one right there by
Yeah,
code.
because the
No.
one right there, that window or that where that door is that you can come out onto the garage, it's going to be right near the entry. I mean, where the door into the living room, those two egresses are too close together to be considered two separate egresses.
Wow.
I
So if this has been rented for 20 years and approved by you guys, so I do feel that this is really just
Well, it's something you have
something
to,
personal.
you have to talk with the building inspector to make sure, because he won't give you the C of O until you have that. And I guess that's what we're looking for right now.
Yeah, Jessica, we're not,
Tracy, hold on. Wait a minute, slow down. Carolyn,
Well, you nailed it, Mike, because I was concerned and wrote down second means of egress, particularly because this is a new issue in the makeup of the building, the Airbnb apartment. So, and I believe they have to be, and I looked it up in our new books, second means of egress has to be in a different location.
yeah.
okay, Mr. Lemieux.
The only problem I'm having here is an Airbnb is no different than having an apartment you rent on a day-to-day basis or a month-to-month basis. I really am still wondering, why are we even hearing this? I mean, if I have my house here on where I live, if I want to Airbnb that thing and I move away for the winter, people do it all over the world. And I don't think they go to the zoning board in every town and ask for permission to go rent for day to day or month to month.
That's
I
reasonable.
think, Mike, I believe it's to do with the fact that it's a two dwelling, it's not a single home.
But it was an apartment for historically. So taking an apartment they used to rent month to month and turn it into a few days a week or a couple days.
Mike, I don't think anybody has a problem with the fact of what they're doing. I think we all think it's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah.
I think the issue where this is a new application.
Yeah, and what I'm thinking though is that we're asking her about codes. Are we gonna approve an Airbnb and let the building inspector and the fire inspector do their job? I don't think it's our job.
It-
Either we
Well,
approve or
that's what I'm
disapprove.
thinking.
As a
Mike,
condition,
I know that
Tracy,
you're, I
Tracy,
know that you're a new,
Tracy, hold on 1 minute. Mike, as a new application, it has to meet what is standard today. For the applicant, what was good 20 years ago, and it's been more than 20 years for this apartment. That apartment has been near, I've been on this board for 30 years, and it had come before this board before that. So the codes that are effective today as a stipulation, and we're just trying to get this information on the table for you, so it doesn't come as a total surprise, that you're gonna have to have more than likely the fire department or the building department, meaning Mr. Coombs or Mr. Glasscock. They're gonna come down and more than likely tell you that the new code has to have two means of egress. That part of this application is it needs to meet current code. In order for it to meet current code, for it to be accepted, which is part of the acceptance process, if it's accepted, it has to meet code. By meeting code, you're probably gonna have to make sure, and we're saying this before you go and finish it all, you're probably gonna have to put a second means of egress, whether it be, Scott, can you go back to the picture of the front of the house, please? So if you went to which you couldn't really probably do here, but the bedroom window and had an outside ladder come down or the other side of the house, you can't have both means. And it's so small, it's hard to say that the one in the bedroom versus the one on the porch is so close. That's going to be a decision of the fire and the building inspector. But we're trying to give you a heads up that this is probably going to be something you're going to have to address.
Which is fine.
Tracy?
She's
Hang on,
muted.
Tracy.
You're muted.
You're muted, Tracy.
You're still muted.
There you go.
okay, Jessica, that's exactly what I was going to say. And because I heard you say something about it being personal, it's not. Any application that comes before us, and this apartment, just like Mike said, we hadn't seen this apartment. So even though it's been rented for the last how many years, 20, 30, 40 years, we hadn't seen this apartment. So when we're bringing up the second egress, it's because I saw all those pictures and you've got stripped down to the walls and stuff. Now's the time to find out that you need to put a second egress in or something. And we have to, like Mike said, we have to follow the rules that are in place right now for city codes. And that's why we're trying to call this to your attention. It's nothing personal. We don't, if it was personal between us, we would have had to taken ourselves off the board if we knew you or we did work with you. I don't know you. You're an applicant and I'm looking at this application and I'm saying there's no second egress. Now's the time to do it. And second egress doesn't mean you have to cut a hole in the wall and put a door in or anything. I know that we had to put a second egress in and my husband chose to use one of those ladders that you can physically mount, and then your tenant or whoever can throw it out the window and climb down it. It's just got to be another form of egress. So we're just calling that to your attention. We're not doing it in any way to make this personal.
Well, thank you, but Sean Glasscock has been to the apartment from the very beginning. And we have checked with him on every single thing that
Who?
we've done.
Who?
Building
Building
inspector.
inspector.
Glasscock.
Okay,
So
I would,
maybe we need to draw him into this meeting.
No. At the end of this hearing, they'll decide how it's gonna go, and one of the conditions will be that you have to meet the conditions of the building inspector.
That's fine.
Right.
It's that simple.
not the building inspector. I would want the fire department.
And
It's
the
part
fire
of the
department.
building
Thank you,
code, Tracy. Tracy. it's
Yep,
part
that'd be
of-
great.
Gonna be part of the building code, which the fire department, I'm not sure who handles it now that Colin's not there, but
Yep.
between the fire department and the building department,
Right,
the two of them will decide. And if they
Right.
say it doesn't have it, that's all to her. We're just giving her a
we
heads up.
just want
that
her to
possible.
check it.
So is this your rule for all of Claremont? So if I check out every single apartment, they're gonna be up to this standard?
Have
Yeah,
they
I-
come before our board?
Yes.
We can't just go to any apartment and say, well, we wanna, it's up to the building inspector. If he goes to an apartment for some reason and he sees something,
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Actually,
you.
Mike,
Okay.
Mike,
So with that being done, Carolyn, Richard,
all set?
you guys all set?
I'm
I'm
good,
good.
Carolyn,
Yeah, I'm all set.
Mike?
good.
So with that being said, the applicant, I think has, what we're trying to express with our verbiage. I'm gonna call a public hearing closed. We do not have anybody from the public, correct, for us standing by?
I don't know. There is someone in the waiting area, but I don't know if they're here for this hearing. Layla Telebian, could you please raise your hand if you wanted to speak at this public hearing? All right, she is asking to speak. You have to unmute yourself so the board can hear you.
That you're Heather, not Lally, tell them.
Oh, I'm Heather Tyne.
We're here to
Let's
just
go
answer.
to the next case.
You're,
Next case.
Yeah, okay.
okay, sorry, didn't know that name.
Okay. So we'll get back to you folks in a minute. So with that being said, the public hearing's closed. I think we've had, anybody else have any more comments? I think we've had enough so far. If not, can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Please.